The War in Vietnam, from the beginning in 1959 to its end in the 1970s, was a brutal conflict between the Northern Vietnamese Communists with their allies Communist China and the USSR against the United States and the Southern Vietnamese. About 60,000 lives were lost in one of the bloodiest and longest wars in this country's history. Now let's hear from a man that lived through hell itself in the war for Southeast Asia.
Alright, I'm Oscar and this is Ernest, a veteran from the Vietnam War. Thank you for the interview.
My pleasure. Glad to do it.
I'm sorry I'm taking your time here, but it's...
No, glad to help
Thank you very
the
much.
youth of the day.
Alright, well, first question. What branch were you enlisted to, and did you volunteer for the war, or were you a draftee?
I was in the U.S. Army, and I volunteered, yes.
Mm-hmm. How did you, what gave you the courage to go forth and volunteer?
I just wasn't so much courage. I was really afraid that it was going to be over with before I got a chance to participate.
Yeah.
You know, like all the males in my family on both sides go back to the Revolutionary War, and all the men have participated in it, and it was just my turn, and I just always felt like that's what men do when your country needs it. Well, there's no questions asked. I mean, just go.
Well, it's really interesting, since the Revolution, and that's every single war, Revolutionary, World War I, World War II.
Civil War, War of 1812. They were all, well, not all of them, but the majority of them were sailors. My cousin was a sailor.
Yeah.
Main reason I didn't join the Navy is because I can't swim.
So you just went for the Army.
Yeah.
Well, since you were a volunteer, what did you think of the draft, in general, and those people that were forced to go?
Well, I think that I think the draft is a good thing. I mean, every young man should not so much be forced to participate in a war, but I mean, do some military time. If not, but just like a year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good for you. It just it exposes you to different people, different cultures, and it's just shows teaches you some discipline, and like the guys that went to Canada, you might be surprised, but I admired a lot of those guys, and I'll tell you why. They were felt so against that war that I mean they had changed their whole way of life. You know, went to Canada and they couldn't come back. And I mean, that's you have to when you believe in something, no matter what it is, and back it up the way that they did. I find that I admire that.
Yeah. Did they ever get did you hear of any stories of them getting in trouble for it, for leaving?
As long as they didn't come back to the United States.
With treason?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what the charge would be, but like, and I don't know if they were pardoned or, I don't know what the deal was. Canada's not that bad of a place to live, really. Cold as hell.
Oh, yeah. That's about it. Overall, how many years did you serve?
In the
In
Army?
the Army. Sure.
Right at, not quite 3 years. I was in Vietnam for 21 months, and I got wounded, got shot real bad, and I had to get out on a medical. I was on my second tour.
Did you what was your highest, ranking, your promotion?
E5, was it like sergeant?
Okay. So you actually had some men that you had to, that you were in charge of, or?
Oh, not really. No, I was, no. I was like the lieutenants and the captains.
When France pulled out of the war, because
Uh-huh.
that's how it started originally, and we came in. Do you remember where you were at when you heard that the president said we were going to go to war in Vietnam?
I'll be honest, no, I couldn't tell you. I had no idea. And, like back then it was in Indonesia, it wasn't Vietnam.
Yeah.
And, that like, no, I didn't know why. Reason France was, the French people were there to begin with. It's like they're as bad as the English. That was Vietnam was one of their colonies,
Yeah.
and like anybody else, you don't want some foreigner coming to your country telling you how to live. That's basically what the French was doing.
Yeah.
Just like the English does in Ireland, and I'm Irish, and they kicked their butt too. There's some fierce little warriors.
Yeah.
I tell you. I mean, they started off with nothing but a sharpened stick.
Yeah. So it was just trying to get in their independence.
Yeah, they just wanted the hell out.
Yeah.
Which I can't blame them.
Do you know how did you feel before the war started, and when the U.S. was actually sending supplies and trying to help out the French? Were you more on the side of the Vietnamese because of those revolutionary beliefs?
Not really. Really wasn't into politics at that time. That's about what it was. And I was a kid.
So you didn't consider them dangerous at all, the Vietnamese?
No, not really. I didn't even, tell you the truth, didn't pay much attention until I saw John Wayne and the Green Beret, the movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was like a lot of war movies, the propaganda to get the people
Pumped up.
behind that war. And it did at first, but after a while, it just kept going on, and there's no end in sight. And after a while, people get and this is like in the 60s now, this is like major protest era. I mean, my generation protest is the drop of a hat.
Yeah, I've seen some of the old videos.
Yeah.
Of people protesting.
And like when you go there with good intentions and you hear about all the protests going on back home, and but like I said, I can't, to be honest, I went over there for myself. I wanted to test myself. My biggest fear was not measuring up to my first taste of combat, how I would react. I saw guys just literally pissing their pants. Guys that, I mean, like big football player looking guys.
Yeah.
Just sit down and start crying. and I've seen some guys that you would think wouldn't hurt a fly, answer the call. I mean, that just go into without hesitation. And I was afraid. Well, not afraid. I was just wondering how I was going to react. 'Cause you don't know until it happens.
Yeah.
And luckily for me, and unluckily for those little zipper heads, I answered the call, so to speak.
And do you believe that your training helped you towards that?
No, that training was a joke. It was just a formality.
And they just wanted people to go through?
Yeah.
Just,
It's just, yeah. You don't, it's like, people can tell you about girls all your life, but until you start dating one, then you know what they're really like.
or, petrified, just waiting there for them to get bombed, or, to be able to react.
Well, not so much, afraid, just, you're, just, I never was. I mean, I was wanting to, you get anxious after a while, and one time we drew some fire from this sniper up in this banana tree, and just this one guy, I mean, and the whole company turned, and man, just about 15 seconds later, there was a banana, the tree was gone, that little goop was gone. I mean, it's like everybody was just, hold your fire, fuck you.
Yeah. Because of, the anxiety just wanted
Yeah, exactly. It's like you want to, when you carry this weapon with you, you want to use it sometime.
Well, talking about weapons, after, the war went on for a while, did you ever hear the officers or hear stories of, because of the frustration of ever using nukes in Vietnam?
Nah, I'll tell you why. War is a business. It's a big business. And like people like Bell Helicopter, Colt Ammunition, they wanted that war to go on as long as possible because people were getting rich off of it. And to nuke the place, it would end it. And there was too many people making too much money.
Would you have liked it that way though? For it to be, just done with the.
Well, you get into nuclear weapons and stuff. I mean, man, there's so many countries that have so many nuclear weapons that, I mean, man, it's everybody would be blown to bits.
But I mean, even back in the day with, just U.S. and Russia being the two main superpowers, do you think it would have started something with
Probably,
Russia as well?
yeah. It would, if not giving them an excuse to nuke us, just, you don't know who's got their finger on the button. It's like some guy, hell, who knows, about fall asleep and accidentally lay down and push the wrong button.
Yeah. Did you ever encounter, as yourself from either rescuing or capturing POWs?
Never did. Never have. I've talked to some after, I could go down to the VFW hall or something. I mean, years after I've been home, and talked to guys that were POWs. That was the one thing I didn't mind getting wounded or even killed as much as being taken a prisoner. Cause like, I mean, man, it's, as long as the war went on, and if you're a POW, I mean, that, you know, that's how, you know, there's no end in sight, is what I'm trying to say, you know, and that, no, I couldn't handle that.
What kind of, you know, you said you spoke to some people. What kind of stories did you hear?
Well, mostly, all they would like try to brainwash them, just some, mess with their heads mostly. Most of the POWs that I heard of were like pilots, so they were officers. You know, wasn't like just a regular soldier.
Yeah.
You know, they were being an officer. The enemy figures that if nothing else, if they don't have, if they can't get information out of them, they use them as a bargaining chip, so to speak.
That's true. Okay.
And let me say this: the one reason why a lot of the POWs, as I say, were pilots, and these were these were bombings in like Cambodia and what's that? Laos, and civilians were getting bombed.
Yeah.
And so you know you can understand why there was so much contempt for these. Once they shot them down, I was lucky that they wouldn't beat to death.
Yeah, because of the hatred they felt.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. You know, I can understand why.
At any point, you know, well, I know you thought this during the beginning of the war, but once, you know, a few years went by, did you ever think that the U.S. was actually going to win it?
Nah, there wasn't anything to win. You know, we just cut our losses, and we weren't getting any support from the civilian people, and no, there just there was nothing to gain.
So
Cut our losses.
it was basically all in vain.
Well, just depends on the way you look at it. I mean, if something wrong is going on, and let's say has that evil flourishes when good men just sit back and do nothing.
Yeah.
Just if you can help somebody, you know, you need to do it.
Might as well at least try, right?
Yeah, at least try or something. I mean, you just can't. I mean, granted, you know, we have a lot more people in our own United States that needs help, but there again, you know, you gotta try and help them, or just can't sit back and do nothing.
If you know, you said you didn't have the public support, and you know, these, you know, people were dying, etc., and it just kept going on. Why do you think, you know, it kept going on and on?
Well, money.
Yeah.
That's exactly why. I mean, like I say, people were making a lot of money off of that war. I mean, and you have defense contracts, a lot of jobs. I mean, you know, when we were in that war, there was a lot of jobs for people. I mean, you know, a lot, got a lot. I don't know how all these men taken out of the workforce, going into the service, which left a lot of job openings, help for women, and everybody.
But I mean, those are just independent companies. So, I mean, the government wasn't getting money from it, was it? Were they?
Oh, I'm sure they were. Yeah, they were. Well, the government, your your armed forces. I mean, you know, they have to have a reason for wanting Congress to let them spend all this money on all these uh, different defense weapons and stuff. And you know, it keeps us in shape for like if Russia does decide to attack. You know, that's the thinking at the time. You know, it gave them a chance to try out some new weapons,
Mm-hmm.
this and that.
Speaking about Russia, how did you feel towards Russia? Alright, so when the country started to retreat, after all those years of fighting, how did you feel? Did you see it as a good thing, or?
Well, any time that lives are saved, you know, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was any time that you know, there's two rules of war. The first rule is men are going to get killed.
Mm-hmm.
The second rule is there's not a whole lot you can do about rule number one. So anytime that you're saving lives, you know, the end justifies the means. You know, like when we bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Is that right?
Nagasaki.
Yeah. Now all that devastation that we caused, still in the long run, it saved a lot of lives. Because those little zipper heads were going to give up. We had to blow them off the face of the earth.
That's true.
I mean, they, you know, getting off the subject, but they actually had some of their soldiers, like 30 or 40 years later, still out in the jungles
Still learned to
the
fight.
Philippines. Yeah, thinking the war's still going on.
Mm.
That's how dedicated those guys were.
You know, some really hardcore.
Yeah.
Brainwashing that they
Yeah,
did.
and yeah, they would not believe that Japan would ever give up.
Mm-hmm. It was kind of like, you know, a miracle that it happened, because if the bombs wouldn't happen, they would have had to invade, and it would have been, you know, a lot more lives, you know,
Yeah.
would have died, like you said. Well, you know, speaking about death and about those two rules, what did you think, and you know, how did you feel as a person, as a soldier, when you heard the number 60,000 people, you know, dead?
Well, one is one death is like just one too many.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, it went on for, let's see how many years, almost 10 years. I mean, that's not too bad, but some of the guys were, you know, we were all kids. Hell, I was there. I had just turned 20 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and there were guys there that were the same age, 19 and 20, and what I thought about the most was, you know, I felt bad for those guys that didn't come home, and I have felt guilty sometimes that I came home and they didn't, and I was just, man, you can't win.
It was, you know, friends and soldiers.
Well, one thing I did was I never got real close to anybody.
That would actually been a really smart thing.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, you when someone would when their tour would be up, and like go around telling everybody goodbye and everything, and yeah, give me your phone number and address and all this, and I'm gonna come look you up when I get out. But you don't do it, man. You just wanna go home and forget about it.
Yeah. Going back, if you were president or if you were a leader,
Yeah.
would you have done it all over again?
Well, as far as the president goes, president will do what he's told to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't, he'll end up like Kennedy did.
Yeah.
So it's hindsight being 2020. Who knows? Like I say, it's a business, and when there's enough money to be made.
Mm-hmm. So you think other people, influenced the president?
Oh yeah, yeah, I know they did. Yeah, hell yeah, hell yes.
Do you know some of the stories?
Well, it's nothing I can prove, but when like Kennedy was going to withdraw all the troops from Vietnam in 62 or 3 or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and of course you know what happened to him.
Yeah.
And LBJ comes along, and I mean he does like I say, if you want to get along, you go along.
So do you think, conspiracy-wise, it was, a plot to assassinate him because of the war?
Well, I used to think that I went along with the conspiracy, but after I went in and out of the service, I learned that when it comes to like a conspiracy like that,
Mm-hmm.
in order for it to be pulled off, you'd have all these people that have to keep their mouths shut,
Yeah,
and which is impossible.
that's true. Yeah.
You know, it's
People
like
would
to
not do
say, three people can keep a secret if you kill 2 of them. You know, and like,
Yeah.
and I mean, all that, and like I said, there was a lot of stuff that I thought, well, there was like more than one shooter and all this, and then I got, well, maybe he was just a lone, because nobody wanted to believe that that nut Oswald
Mm-hmm.
could have done what he did. But hell, maybe he did.
Mm-hmm. Maybe, because you don't know what's going inside his head, right?
Yeah, and like I got all these people that, like I say, would have to keep a secret, which can't be done.
Mm-hmm. At the end, after all the conclusion of the peace treaty was signed, did you see the war as a total loss for the U.S. or?
Oh, not really. Like economically, it was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like it's a little macabre to think that men losing their lives was good for jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a fact of life.
So it's basically a trade-off, people for money or for the prosperity of others.
Yeah, it's a yeah.
Since the whole idea and the whole main reason for the war was to stop communism.
Yeah, that's what
USSR and everything.
they
That's what they
told.
said.
Yeah.
Would you have taken another approach to try to end it, or?
I don't know what it would be. Like I say, my way of thinking is that's like right at the time of the Cold War, and it gave us an excuse to test some of our weapons. Yeah.
To just practice for
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Russians
Yeah.
forever. Do you think that was
But not and now it's not so much and the Russians weren't.
when we're talking about communism and the war with Vietnam, what happened prior with Korea? Do you think it had something to do with the economy as well as Vietnam, or what do you think the reason was there?
In Korea,
Korea.
to tell you the truth, I haven't really been keeping up with that. I know that I don't watch the news like I used to. I don't read the paper like I used to. But I know that I've heard bits and pieces of how North Korea is really messing with South Korea. I mean, doing little things, try to get them to retaliate in a way. And it's like I was telling Jeff, I just found out recently that technically North and South Korea are still at war with each other. And I didn't know that. I mean, when I say at war, there's no treaty or anything passed. And that whole deal. I can't understand how they're the same people. How they can't get along with each other. I mean, it's not like it's a foreign person or something. I mean, they're all Koreans. I don't understand that at all.
With all those little bits of attacks that you're seeing, do you think there could be a war, or not? Because there already, do you think it could escalate into something?
All it takes is just one little deal. I mean, and it could just have the snowball effect.
And if it ever would occur, do you think the U.S. would go back and
I don't think so. I think that I think that the American people are saying, "Hey, man, we've got enough on our plate. They should be more concerned over tracking down that Bin Laden guy, or whatever the hell his name is. Instead of worrying about Korea, or that's what I would do. I'd kill that bastard first."
It's been almost 10 years.
Yes,
You haven't been able to find him?
it sure has. There was a time when people wouldn't even think of doing that to the United States. Not even think much of us doing it. And the first time he had some idiot pack a bunch of explosives in his van, and remember that? And I was telling anybody that listened, I said, "Man, he's gonna do something again. They need to kill that bastard." And sure enough.
Well, it's kind of strange that they haven't been able to find it. But what do you think changed, between the Vietnam War and the Gulf War that made him want to attack or be able to attack?
I don't know, I don't understand, I really don't know. You know, it's like, the, uh, it's like the Palestinians and the Jews, you know, I don't understand why, you know, they, just seem like they've been fighting each other for years and years, and it's like, it's like spilled over into the, I don't understand why someone hates the United States as much as they do. You know, it's like, we go, what the hell do we do to them?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, we need to do something, because people, they just, that country just doesn't fear us anymore. Nobody does.
I mean, what do you think could, cause that fear? I mean, without actually retaliating and attacking someone.
Well, that's what I mean, you have to get, as I said in Pulp Fiction, you have to get medieval on his ass. I mean, you know, catch him and string him up. You know, I mean, do something to not worry about his damn civil rights. And anybody that, if you can't find him, then you get whoever helps him out, and you punish them, and you just keep on going until you get that bastard.
Yeah. Well, hopefully something happens soon, because how we were open to attack then, we're probably still open now.
Exactly.
I mean, it might not be through airplanes, but
Yeah.
something else could happen.
Yeah, that's like biological
Yeah.
mess, and it's like it just pisses me off that after that happened, Bush, and Bush was a good president. He said, well, we're going to do this and that, and I'm not going to arrest her, blah, blah, blah. And what they do, they go out and they get that, they capture that Hussein guy.
Yeah.
You know, and like, well, that's not the guy that did that, you idiot. You know.
The wrong guy.
Exactly. I mean, it's like they're so afraid he's gonna make somebody hurt somebody's feelings. A lot of our better presidents were ex-GIs. A lot of them. Kennedy was in the Navy. Eisenhower, boy, he kicked ass.
I've heard stories.
He was a good president. I mean, I was real young at the time. You know, I was too young to worry about politics and, you know, I was just, at the time, getting into, that's when rock and roll first came in, and man, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was born just right at the right time. But I tell you, that 40s music sucked.
Yeah.
Sucked bad.
All slow and stuff.
Yeah, and you know, big band and crap, and man, rock and roll came along, and boy, it was neat. It was good.
Well, again, thank you for the
Well, you're welcome,
opportunity for
Oscar.
the interview.
I really appreciate it.